Welcome to the Dream Big Summit, creating a better life for yourself and the planet. And today I have a very special guest who will be sharing with us about wellness, nutrition, and wholeness approach to health, who came back from having been very sick herself, very severely so, and it took her years to discover what tools actually work. And to cut to the chase, I will interview her and ask her what this was. So here we are. With Allison Carmany, and she is a nutrition coach, yoga teacher, and she's been teaching people on wellness. And I love this one quote of hers that says, I believe that when you choose to ignite wellness in yourself, health and happiness will follow, which will lead us right into the conversation. How did you create wellness in yourself? You were really stumped with an autoimmune system disease at age 20, having lived it up in your teenage years. Tell us what you had and how you got out of that situation when you said enough's enough. Thank you, Allison.
Well, I had autoimmune hepatitis, which is basically where your cells attack your body. And I was so young, I didn't know. I just did what the doctor told me, which was I got on medication. I was on steroids and anti-inflammatories for about 4 years until my body was so out of whack. My digestion was so bad. My skin acne was so bad. I had gained all this weight. And I just had so many health problems from taking all those medications because I was taking handfuls of medications every day. So finally, after about 4 years, I started to do research on my own about wellness and, nutrition. And it's through nutrition that I really made the big leap and change in my health.
So how long did you go on this medication? And at what point did you then stop, and how did you go cold turkey, and how did you do it?
Well, I was on the medication for about 4 years, and then I started to integrate, fresh juices and fresh food, and because I came from the generation where it was like the Industrial Revolution. They were so happy about the canned food, frozen food, all this preservatives to keep food, and so I wasn't eating a healthy diet, and I had never been exposed to eating a healthy diet. And so I started to drink green juices. I started to be exposed to this, and I became vegetarian. And I went vegetarian for about 7 years. And so in this discovery, I spent about a decade just doing research and recovering my health, just through nutrition. And I thought that I was, at the end, I thought I had the best diet on the planet.
Yes.
But it wasn't until I got pregnant with my first son, and before I had pregnant with my first son, I had a miscarriage. And my midwife said, your iron is way too low. It's off the charts, and you lost the baby because of the iron being so low, and you're going to have to start eating meat.
Oh, God.
And change your diet. So at that point, I wasn't doing the vegetarian diet, which is the healthy vegetarian diet. I was doing the junk food vegetarian diet, which is a lot of bread, a lot of carbs, because I was so hungry. And I didn't really know, people said, oh, vegetarian, that's the way to be, and I'm a vegetarian. I was above everybody else, but I wasn't doing it the right way. And so it's all been a process of discovery. But so then I changed my diet to start integrating meat. And as I was so confused about what do I eat, what's right, what's wrong, and so is everybody else out there. They're so confusing. So at that point, I had attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and it's the school with Deepak Chopra and David Wolfe. It's in New York City, and I learned all about different diets and what people should have or not do, diets, whatever. And it's in that moment that I started to change my philosophy on diets.
Okay.
And I realized that no one diet is right for one person. So it's that we have to be individual. And at one point in your life, one diet might be right, but it's not right, at another time. Mm-hmm. So And that was the thing. I was so identified with being a vegetarian. I was actually running the Vegetarians in Central Florida. I was running all the events in Central Florida that were vegetarian related, and so I had so much identity stuck in being a vegetarian. Mm-hmm. And then changing that, anytime we go to change our identity and all that stuff. So then I started to realize, okay, it's different diets, and we're in different points in our life. If we're in we could be in a cleansing process, having a raw diet is okay at certain points. Having different diets at different points, maybe in the wintertime, hearty soups, bone broth, different diets at different moments.
Are you also familiar, or have you worked with the diet for your blood type?
I am familiar with that. And I mean, what I found is that no one diet works individually and all the time for somebody. So it's just like one time you might want this and one time you might want, as you change and evolve as a person, your diet might change.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for myself, I've been a vegetarian since I was 19, but I didn't cut out meat instantly. I did it slowly. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do. They think ideology first, but your body takes time. Yeah. And your emotional body also. Like, I cut out the pig meat, the red meat, and then eventually the chicken, and half a year later, and then years later I took out the fish, and then I went raw, and then I got sick. So I went back to, because I'm blood type A, I actually do much better with steamed stuff and certain kinds of foods. No, not
too.
Yeah, and I don't do well with nightshades. So I can do half raw, half steamed, and I need a little bit of carbs, but that also changes with age.
Yeah, but what is also with season, and also with what you're going through emotionally and all that stuff. And so I think that's what's lacking in our consciousness as people, because we're like, okay, well, I'm supposed to follow this diet, the American's diet, or this specific diet, and we don't realize that we're multidimensional beings. We can't follow this one diet. As we change and evolve, maybe we want more grounding foods.
And we need different frequencies. And even every psychology and every chemistry is different. So as a matter of fact, I just did the DNA analysis with 23andMe, and they said, oh, most likely you won't have any lacto intolerance. No, I can choose not to anymore, but I can drink milk, cheese, and I will have my Parmesan. I make that confession when I have certain types of foods here and there. There is ideology and our wish to help the planet, which means, of course, meat is the worst contributor to the greenhouse effect on our planet, CO2, due to the dairy and food farm meat industry. However, we also can't just break ourselves and make ourselves and our whole mindset into a different person overnight. So I love what you say. Absolutely. We need to listen to our body.
Yeah, and I think there's also an emotional need for things like the Parmesan cheese is probably something from childhood. You know what I mean? Like
it's an example. I think it's the salt most of the time that we crave.
Yeah, probably. But what I'm saying is, like, we have foods that maybe we like.
Right.
Emotional. We want to eat them. You know.
Right.
And so it's just different. So it can evolve.
Christmas cookies a certain way. They are, what we always had. Yeah, make us feel good. Yeah. So what you're suggesting is, well, my question to you then is, how do we discover the kind of diet that is correct for us?
Well, so this has been a huge evolution process for me, because I've been on so many different diets. Try this and this. And my last diet that I was on the paleo diet. And
Paleolithic, the old.
Yeah. And so what I found from the paleo diet was I was eating way too much meat. And then I was I felt heavy. Yeah. So what I discovered positive from that diet was to cut out all the grains, cut out all the dairy, all the
allergens,
all the allergen foods, the beans and stuff like that, cutting those out. I mean, what I did was I cut everything out and then was able to reintegrate things and see what did my body need and what did my body not want.
Right, exactly. And imagine, I know the studies that they've done with the people like Mexican people and or American Indians who were used to the bean and corn diet. When they went into the typical American diet, they went obese. When they went back to their genetic ancestral diet, they went back to healthy living forms. So it's sometimes what our system was used to for a long time. But I mean, for me, that would have been, German food diet. I can't take it. I couldn't take it as a child. So now I believe we take with us reincarnational memories of who we are and what we like to eat and what we don't like to eat.
Yeah.
They say that, They say that genetically, if you have the traces of your Asian background, as well as past lives in that, you will be drawn to the rice diet versus the potato diet.
Interesting. I'd never known that.
Yeah, I just recently read that and found out, actually, I talked with one person, and it just opened my whole mindset up to who we really are. Not just this incarnated genetic being, but we are the mindset of our past lives as well, that imprints our genetic structure.
Well, okay. And to answer the rest of your question too, this is how I know if it feels right for my body or doesn't feel right for my body, is when I was eating like stuff that was like, when I eat a lot of carbs and bread and heavy stuff, I feel very heavy.
Yeah.
I want lethargic and want to sleep a lot. And when I'm doing like drinking juices, having more fruit, doing stuff like that, then I feel lighter.
Yes.
And I'm able to have more energy throughout the day, not having to take naps, not having to, I wake up groggy in the morning.
Yes. So super cool. How long, when you did all the medicines, you did it for 4 years and then you slowly walked yourself out of it. How long did it take you to cut out of this immune disease? When were you healed, or when did you feel like your system was healed?
Well, what happened, I mean, this is the thing, the gut is the main thing that is damaged in most people. And that was the main thing that was damaged within me from doing all those steroids.
Yeah.
Gut. And now they're making connections between the gut and your mood.
Yes.
And so, and so with that, I mean, the gut, I probably worked on for like a decade to try to, strengthen that, doing probiotics, doing the kombucha, the bone broth, all those things that help, you can do certain foods like artichoke and stuff that help to naturally help the gut.
Okay.
Sauerkraut, all those active enzyme foods.
Right.
That we no longer eat.
Yeah. I actually, in Germany, they sell the sauerkraut juice like for $1 for a little bottle like that. In America, it costs $6. It does wonders for the metabolism. You look in there and you think, wow, I produce. It's very effective to build. Sauerkraut, you can make yourself sauerkraut juice.
Yeah. And the other thing is coconut oil and apple cider vinegar. Those are all really great too because they're antibacterial.
How do you make a mix? Is there a secret thing that you do every day?
No, but like you could have teaspoons of coconut oil.
Okay.
Well, I just like cook with the coconut oil.
Yep.
Really, they're saying that coconut oil and avocado oil are the only oils that go to high heat. So those are the only oils that you can cook with.
Yeah.
So I always cook with coconut oil. And so just having that, but like the apple cider vinegar, you could have on a salad, or you could actually have a shot of apple cider vinegar.
Right.
So that does wonders.
To alkalize your body, to bring it down from acidity. Cool. Yeah.
Because all those medications are acidic. And that's what is the heaviness in the body.
I see.
But in this whole process, there was also, the nutrition and the nutrients that my body needed. But one of my recent discoveries was food was not the end all be all. That there was also other aspects that played into my wellness.
Okay.
And what I realized is, like, if I'm going to a job that I hate and I have negative feelings about, and it's toxic for my body, or relationships, a friendship they're toxic and they affect your body just as much as what you would intake on food. Yeah. And this is something that I didn't understand. So, if you feel, you're eating a great diet or eating, a well-balanced diet and you're still losing energy, you need to start looking at some relationships. You need to start looking at your job. You need to start looking at your finances and seeing where all this energy is being drained from.
Right. Okay. So wellness is, and I think a broad spectrum. I love on your website, you describe the wellness as an 8-petaled lotus.
Yes.
Lotus. Can you describe a little bit? Let me just mention that everybody who wants to get, you have the 101 tips to wellness.
Yeah, 100 ways to be happy.com. And you can sign up for all the tips. 100 awesome. Ways to be happy.
So we made it easy for all our listeners. We put that link up here, and you can link to her 101 ways to be happy website and the place to get your free download for the 101 happiness ways. I love that. First of all, I love how gorgeous it looks. Second of all, every single thing is one of those daily mantras you can do, and you can pick and choose. Do 1 every week, do 10 every week, and then work your way through like a little course that you can get inspiration from. I'd like to just print it out and hang it on my wall.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So 101 ways to be happy.com, and that's the link where you see above here. Get your free download from Allison, and also that way you get more and more tips along the way as when people sign in with that, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the 8-petaled lotus approach.
So the 8 petals is what I discovered was I started to look at my life from a larger aspect, seeing all these different aspects that played a role: creativity, friends, spirituality, finances, and just evaluated all those. And I actually had a workshop here, just invited some friends over and had them evaluate from on a scale of 1 to 10 where we were, you know? And once I actually took a look at this, I was shocked because I wasn't where I thought I was.
Oh, really?
Because the problem is that a lot of times we're so focused on a couple aspects of our life, the other aspects fall out.
Yeah. So we focus on maybe the kids and the work, and not maybe on self-care or healthy or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And self-care is in the center of the flower. Because without self-care, we can't have any of these aspects within our being.
Okay.
And so after, looking at and actually taking a look at each petal, and you could build, and one of the things that I'm working on right now is for people to do vision boards, but do a vision board for that petal.
Yes.
Like, so, if it's career, like you have a dream to do a certain career, have vision just for that exclusively.
Powerful.
And you can work on that for a month,
Yeah.
Or for relationships, whatever, and you could work on that aspect. Because most of the time we're not at a level 10 in each aspect of our life. Correct. And the ones that we're not at are the ones that we want to strive for, to have more balance in our lives, more meaning and more purpose.
Right.
And so one of the things is to really take a look at some of those aspects that you aren't clear about, that you haven't spent time and put energy into, and find ways to have vision. Start writing down and having a vision for that aspect of your life.
So so what are the 8 petals? Let's walk through that. Okay, number 1.
Okay, well, they're not actually in order, like it's however your order is.
Okay, all right.
So we've got career, spirituality, creativity, friendship, social, friendship, social. I'm not looking at it right now. So
relationship, husband, wife type, or whatever,
yes,
romantic.
And finances. And the
health.
That's right. Health.
Yep.
So in each of these, it embodies things. So with health, we're talking about not only nutrition, but we're also talking about physical fitness and all those aspects of health that you talk about. And, you know, with finances, there's many aspects within finances, you know, so each aspect within the pedal has different arenas that we need to work on.
So let's break that down in a couple arenas. In health, we would take the pedal of health and break it down into a couple segments. What would that be?
Health is, we've got the physical fitness. Okay, because studies actually show that if we work out for 30 minutes a day, we reduce our stress significantly. Okay, so we've got that aspect, which is the physical, actually working out, but we've also got the mental and emotional of health, like, you know, finding balance. And I don't think that there's like balance, you know, where we're at this balance of perfection, but balance where you feel good in your well-being.
Like, for example, like you said, nutrition can be comprised. Okay, so we have food, but then exercises, and then mental and emotional self-talk go in the realm of health. Yeah, I had to work on the mental, the psychoimmunology, my sense of even having any strength.
Yeah.
That was huge for me when I was growing in my 20s. I discovered.
And that's another aspect is, you know, we think, this is something that I had to get over a lot, is I have to see, okay, we're getting this nutrition through food.
Yeah.
But it's actually, from what you talked about too, we could be taking energy from the psychosomatic, you know, like our thoughts.
Yes.
If we have negative thoughts, studies show that those impact our health significantly.
Yep. Actually, I was doing that today. I was drinking my kombucha because I'd been in Florida. I was swimming with dolphins. I bought this great kombucha probiotic drink. And then I drank it. I felt like, oh, I'm doing this good stuff. And probiotics really worked in my digestive system. And then after I came home, Don, my husband, bought it. And we've discovered this little saying on there. It was like, for your spiritual well-being and for your enlightenment and all that. And it said, well, for those for religious reasons don't want to drink any alcohol, you shouldn't drink any of this. And I'm like going, what? There's alcohol in here. No way. Don, you know, I don't drink any alcohol. I decided zero is easy to remember, zero. Now I'm finding out kombucha is more than zero. It's 0.25 or something, you know. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, but you know what? I know which kombucha you got, but the thing is what they say with that kombucha is the sugar actually, like, takes the alcohol away. And that kombucha, Lindsay Lohan had taken, and she got pulled over. And so from this whole thing, they decided to have one that's a black label one, which is like high alcohol, and one that's like a lower one. Oh. And they put those in two different sections.
Oh, well, I couldn't tell any difference, but I then read up on that alcohol can be taken up and digested and fermented in your body as alcohol. And then, you know, just other foods, certain foods, I eat them and they make me foggy in my head. And it's like, oh, I'm not doing those anymore. You know.
Well, okay, what they say about the kombucha is to just have it, you know, one shot after you eat, and that's it.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Everything. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been doing for my kids too. Just giving them like a shot after they eat, and it helps with their digestion.
Yeah. Okay. So that really makes sense. It's like a little medical support system rather than a way of life. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Good. I'm glad we talked. And you know, it's like a lot of little things that we are weaving in here. You know, there is no one right way, but there are like aspects and things that work and make a bigger picture when for you or for me individually are different. I love your pedal for health. We have the different areas of health. Do you have any for finances? Did you subsections?
So just, you know, where you are with your personal finances, you know, to investments, you know, because not only people, usually spiritually, people are so afraid of money. Yeah. But the reality is money is just energy. And however you are in abundance, what you think about abundance is energy. So like I should get energy exchange, just like we're having an exchange right now. That's how money could flow into your life.
Right.
You know, but there's people have such a big, charge on money.
Right.
So they block the abundance, the flow of abundance. So the more you look at each aspect of these, you can see where I have a block. I might have block, and as you start looking, you could start doing affirmations. I feel the flow of abundance in the form of money come into my life daily.
Or I allow it, or I receive it. I'm willing, I'm open. Yeah. It's like, cool. And that is very true. I mean, the church and Eastern and Western belief systems focused very strongly on exclusivity of abundance and said, except the Calvinists in America. Do you know that out of Europe, all the Calvinists moved to America, and they had the belief system that God will show his or her grace and mercy through the very fact that you will be blessed with abundance. And so the more you're connected to God, the more you're blessed. That's why America in general now, does not have as big of an issue as when I teach seminars in Germany. The mindset of the reincarnations of monks and nuns who have this belief system of the vow of poverty, or Asian monks from the yogic life, the vows we carry over. So Calvinists in America, they came and said, yep, the more the merrier. I can be a spiritual and have lots.
Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing too, is that if it needs to be in the pedal, which is resources. Which is, just because we might not have money, we might have access to resources, an abundance of access to resources. So that would mean, like, I could have access to go to this pool, which is this Mac Daddy pool right by my house or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's access to resources. I could get free hotel rooms or whatever it is.
Right.
Do you say? So it's not, so we don't necessarily, a lot of times we're thinking in terms of money too, but it's not necessarily money. It's access to resources.
And it's actually, and like you said, it's the results we want, not the way to get there. We confuse the end result with the way we think we can get there, right? I mean, like, we think money gets us there rather than just being in the picture of what we really want.
Yes. And also what the other thing is about money is, you have to think about, and when when we talk about this pedal is, and when I go over this with people, it's not that new car or that beach house or whatever it is that you want, that's a tangible physical thing, you don't want it for that reason.
Right.
Once you get that thing, it's going to be another thing.
Right.
Because you're chasing the dream.
Right.
If you could go down to the essence of what it is, which is, you want freedom, you want joy, you want recognition, you want significance. If you could go down to these things and the essence of that, then you'll actually have that.
Exactly.
Feeling.
And you become that, right? I love that. Yes. Repeat that again for all of us.
Well, you become the essence, it's the feeling that you want. It's not the actual thing, because when you chase after the thing, it's insatiable. It never ends.
Right.
We want the next thing, and then the more we have, the more we have to grip on and be in scarcity.
And hold on and protect.
If you cannot take from me freedom, joy, happiness. Those are things that nobody can take from me. So, like, I can have joy and freedom and happiness, and
from the inside out.
From the inside. And as I align with that vibration, actually, I get more. And I get all those desires that I want. Oh, I could manifest all those physical desires.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we are aligned and we have all those things that we really want, those physical desires, like, lessen.
Right. And actually, and then we start living the purpose rather than living for the manifestation of something that we think we need to get to that feeling of fulfillment. I love this conversation. I want to go deeper with it. I want to take it into the second segment. I will have to end this. We've already been talking way more than our 25 minutes. I thank you so much, Allison, for your aliveness, your involvement, your engagement in all this. And I appreciate you having come to this full circle understanding that nutrition is one of the petals of wellness, and that it takes attention to all aspects to become the jewel in the lotus.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you in the next segment.